guys, and welcome to a new episode, a different sort of episode this week. We are going to come to you from my editing room. A little bit messy, so I won't show what's going on exactly around me. There's a Hoover. What's going on around me. So today we are going to talk about how much does a HGV driver earn. Now, I've written down some notes. Believe it or not, I did type the notes so that I have them on the screen here, but my computer's crashed. And when I restarted it, nothing was saved. So I've spent a lot of time prepping for this. So before we go any further, if you're new to the channel, thank you ever so much for tuning in and watching. Just feel free to head over, press subscribe, leave a thumbs up, leave a like, and leave any comments you wish, and I will get back to you with a reply. That's a promise. A promise. Right, so I'm going to break it down into a few parts today as to the costings and the earnings of becoming a HGV, because like any trade you go into, there are going to be costs outgoing as well as just waiting for the money to come rolling in once you have passed your test. So if you are waiting to find out how much I earn, you all will be revealed a little bit later in the show, so please stay tuned to find out that. But in the meantime, as I said, we're going to break it down into a few sections just to give you guys more of an idea on how much a HGV driver earns and how you can also make more money. So you want to stick around for that as well. So in today's episode, you are going to learn the different categories for each vehicle, the rough amount it costs to get a license, and of course what you're waiting for is the amount you can earn driving your dedicated category vehicle of choice. So stick around, we'll see and delve into this right now. Right, so let's start at the old class 3, which is now the C1, which is basically a 7.5 ton lorry. Your license will allow you, unless you have grandfather's rights, to drive a vehicle up to a C1, which is 7.5. With grandfather rights, you could, well, I think it was 1992. I think that was the year it all changed. So from 1992 onwards, it didn't apply. If you had it on your license prior 1992, it applied and you could carry it through. If it didn't, it then meant resulting in taking an additional driving test, which is your C1, which is your 7.5. So with the 7.5, what is it that we're looking to achieve? So first and foremost, outgoing costs for this. In total, around the area where I live, when I've done my research, it was around £1,380 to take your C1 driving test. Lasted over 4 days. That included all your CPC and your courses, all up to date, including your test day. Didn't include a retest. So initially, straight away, what you've got to think of is, if you're coming into the industry, the outlay, if you haven't already got one of these licenses, the outlay you would need is £1,380 just to get your license. However, once you get your license for your C1, there are ways of making a living, a good living. 7.5 ton work is it's out there. There was a lot of 7.5 ton work. Probably not as much as I recall when I was doing 7.5 ton, because now I've shifted through the gears and I'm class 1 now. I don't really notice many 7.5 ton vehicles on the road, although I know there is. So 7.5 ton, you are very limited to what you can carry in the volume you can carry. However, there are additional ways to make up costs, but we'll touch on that when we get over to class 2. But the average real earnings for a class 3 C1 driver, anything up to 7.5 ton, it's sort of all over the place, really, because it really depends on additional qualifications. My strong advice would be, if you are planning on just going into C1, having a license for a 7.5 ton, I would do additional courses such as ADR, HIAB, crane, that sort of stuff, but don't really see many 7.5 ton vehicles needing, or for that need. So we'll talk more about that when we get over onto class 2s. The work. So if I recall, not much work on a 7.5. When I'd done 7.5 ton for about 2 to 3 years, well, 2.5 years actually. And I was very, very fortunate because the vehicles I was driving were big cabs and they had beds, so there was always a need for me to work and work long periods and work away from home a lot. I've worked away from home most of my adult life, really. So I've done a little bit of research, and in my local area, expanding about 30 miles around, the average starting point is £10.70 an hour, leading up to about the £13.50 pound an hour mark. So that's sort of generating around 24 to 25,000 pounds a year. That's not including overtime. That's just based on a 40-hour week. So you can see straight away, if you're willing to put yourself out, the room to grow financially is there. So we're going to quickly move over onto Class 2, where we can go a little bit more in depth. We've covered most of the stuff really with Class 3 or C1. So we're going to come on to Class 2 now. The rough cost, again, for an outlay on a Class 2 is around £1,800 to do your test. That covers CPC and your mods. I think it's 2, 3 and 4 or something like that. So this is, in this sort of period of topic, we can discuss better and more additional ways to earn more money with the same license that I hold. So it's beneficial. Just stick around a little bit longer for that. We'll get to that. And that's an outlay that, you know, straight away you're fighting a bit of a losing battle initially. But I find more ways with Class 2. There's so many more ways to earn money. Now, you can earn decent money on Class 2s. Now, when I started on Class 2s, the money was a lot different. Some 20 years ago now, I think it was. So going back to then to how it is now, now is much greater in terms of finances for Class 2. There's pros and cons in every job we do. For me, I love being away. Sorry, wife. I'd rather be away than home. Nothing to do with a wife in that manner. It's just all I've done most of my life is been away from home. So it's sort of pulling myself out of something I've always done to come and do something I'm not really used to. Doesn't really sit well with me. So ultimately, the more away from home you are, the more money you get paid. You get paid nights out, there's expenses. So all that you got to take into factor into your earnings, which will again sort of develop for you into the mental side of thinking. The more you're away, the more you're going to earn. The more I was working away from home, the more money I was earning. Yes, I'm missing time with the family and that, but at the same time, you're providing for the family. And to provide for the family is why we get up in the mornings. Well, it is for me anyway. I love my job. I love it. But, you know, the main purpose of my being and driving lorries is to get up in the mornings, to provide, earn the money so my family's happy, I'm happy, and we can have a nice life. And I'm sure that's what you're all striving to anyway. And if that is the case, I think Class 2 is a fantastic opportunity. Me personally, I would stay well clear of general haulage, but that's me. Just me, particularly not a fan of it. I've done it for 7 or 8 years, and you know what? I swore I would never ever go back to general haulage. So, okay, let's discuss more ways to earn money. Let's discuss more ways we can earn money with our license. So the obvious one, we all know, would be take additional courses. What additional courses are they? I'll run through them very shortly. We're just gonna gloss over a little bit on the day-to-day involvements for Class 2 that I think is worth doing. So as I said, your nights out, fundamental. That they are the main thing for me. Every time I look for a job, it's nights out. It's a money earner. So always consider and take that into account when applying for a job. That when it says £25 or £30 or £15 a night out, just include that in. Don't include that in your salary that you've been given. that is additional. Okay, so there's one way of making additional monies. Another way of making additional monies, we're going to quickly just nip over into it now, is getting additional licenses, such as your ADR, your HIABs, your tanker license. I'm not sure if it's very good on class 2. I have seen some class 2 tankers, you know, flammable liquids and all that, or you can get tankers that are non-flammable, such as your milks, all that sort of stuff. You know, your crane, that's a good one. Crane can be a good one as well. So there's just a few, just, you know, to sort of give you an idea. And annually, ADR earns about £6,000 to £8,000 more per year than an average job in that sector. So what I mean by that is, if you're going to go for a general haulage job that pays £27,000, to go and drive a vehicle of the same size with the same weight ratio and volume and all that, you're going to earn an additional £6,000 to £8,000 on top because of the license you hold. So the additional license is a good thing to get, and I would seriously encourage anybody, if you want to earn more and more and more money, and you're getting your ass out of bed every day, you're going to work and you're just looking at your bank account and you're thinking, it's just not enough, I want that little bit more. Just a few of them I've mentioned are a great way to sort of push further into earning more money. Also, other ways of doing it is, I have noticed recently on certain websites and job sites, so I'm constantly getting jobs sent to me off an agency. An agency is an absolute fantastic way to get into the industry, and I've seen a few that they pay more if you're on a curtain side as opposed to a box, or if you're on a tail lift. So there's a few more other ways, just when you're looking for work, certainly on class 2, just see if they're paying like additional extra fees for working with curtain sides, tail lifts, pump trucks, that sort of stuff. Because Moffat is a fantastic way. If you don't know what Moffat is the little forklift trucks you see on the back of the lorries. Get yourself licensed in one of them. They're an additional £4,000 to £7,000 a year using them. On average, again, it's for my area where I am. You can earn anything from like £13.50, rising to about £16.50 to £17 an hour. Ultimately, if you want to do it in salary, you can earn anything from 26 to 35,000 a year. Again, depending on what qualifications you're carrying through with you. And the main important thing as well that pulls you through is experience. You can't beat experience. So you may see other jobs that are paid more, or you may see someone that you know gets paid more than you and you do the same job, but he may have been driving lorries for 22 years and you've been driving them for 2 months. There's a difference. So experience does carry you, believe it or not, in this industry. Although you probably think it doesn't, experience does carry you through somewhat. So again, yeah, like I say, experience will come into it. Knowledge of the companies, certainly of the industry that you're in, will carry you through that little bit extra as well, I feel. So just be mindful of all this sort of stuff if you're coming into the industry. We're now moving over onto class 1. So really, class 1, there's not a lot to talk about really, other than what we've discussed on class 2. You carry over to class 1, you know, tail lift work, ADR work, tankers, cranes, HIABs, Moffats, all that sort of stuff is combined and sort of within your annual payment, your annual salary, within your annual salary when you take a job on anyway. The difference with class 1, as we know, they're bigger. I actually think they're easier to drive than class 2, and I'm a novice. I've been driving a class 1 just about 10 months now, 11 months, and I actually prefer it to a class 2. I don't know why, I can't put my finger on it. I just prefer it. I'm guessing if you've got nice vehicles and you appreciate your job more, you enjoy your job more, naturally it goes hand in hand, in appreciation and enjoyment. So I think if you carry all from class 2 over to class 1 and sort of embrace and enjoy it, your job can be very satisfying. Now, if you're working in class 1 and you're on, you're slagging out 90 hours you know, like maybe not 90 hours, but maybe 70 hours a week, and you're slogging it off and you're saying, oh, I don't get paid enough for this. You've put yourself in that position. Only you can change it. And you with the correct mindset would be able to say, you know what, I'm better than what they're paying me. I'm better than the work they're giving me. I'm going to go elsewhere. That's the difference, I feel. So the industry we're in is a lot. We're in the events industry, and it's a different ball game, and it's opened my eyes. I didn't realise how different that would be to general haulage, you know. And you know, if you look at someone like Royal Mail, for example, or I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, maybe not Royal Mail. If we just look at a mail company that has red lorries and vans, all right, yeah. Now their pay structure for all three categories that we've discussed are different, absolutely different. And I've checked this out, as well as somebody who used to work for them. I've actually checked it out this afternoon. When I knew I was putting this video together, I've been doing some research over the last few days, and now I've lost it all, and I don't know how to say it all, but we're getting there. Anyway, so yeah, their pay structure is greater. You do a lot less work, but I think it's because within the industry, I mean, don't get me wrong, everyone's got health and safety, and we should all know a form of health and safety, but like everything is like, you know, you can't do this wrong, you can't do that wrong. Their procedures are absolutely, you know, they're up here, their procedures of everything. Whereas it seems like a normal general haulage company or whatever, everything just seems a little bit more relaxed. But for some reason, you go to these big companies like, I'm going to say them, sorry, like your Gist or your Asda's or your big, you know, Palex and all that sort of stuff. Like all that sort of stuff, that's a different world. That's a world I do not want to go in again. And so that's why costings are different for different sectors that you go into. There is one company, I won't name them, big company. If it helps, their lorries are restricted to 52 miles an hour on a motorway, so they're quite easy to get past. Their pay structure is weird, really, really weird, and their pay structure starts from about 47,000 a year on class 1. Remember when I was talking back a little while ago about working with curtains or tail lifts or boxes and things like that? This is one of them examples. So they say that, you know, your starting money, depending on experience, would be 47,000. It gives a list of additional monies you can earn, and it says working on a curtain, additional money. And I'm thinking, back in the day, a curtain was a curtain. Doesn't matter if you've got to get and open it. But it seems to me now like boxes are the standard, and curtains you get paid more money. And there was a whole range of things you can earn additional monies for in the class 1 sector. It's all class 1. There was no class 2, nothing like that. And it's just general haulage, and they're just trying to entice people. But you know, you can earn up to 58,000 a year before overtime. To earn more, we know what we can do. We can go to bigger companies. You can get your qualifications on certain things. We know all that. So I'm sure you could hit around the 50 fairly easily. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. Me telling you my salary on what I earn. So I'm not going to give you a exact amount of what I earn. I think that would be wrong. But you know, if you've been watching so far, I at least owe you a ballpark figure, which I will do, and I will also go into a little bit of depth of the work we do in terms of not companies and all that sort of stuff, but just an idea compared to a general haulage sector, so to speak. So the sort of work we do is in the events industry, really, which entails collecting and delivering, you know, could be anything from staging for concerts or festivals, or you know, stuff indoors for conferences, or Excel Arena, Birmingham Arena, all that sort of stuff really. And this is the industry, you see. It's not a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday. Trucking isn't really a 9 to 5 anyway, but Monday to Friday is certainly out of the question. As you know, if you've been watching my videos, my start day has been a Tuesday for the last few weeks. It's just really weird. You can never really sort of plan a normal week or a weekend, because we're expected to work, and because I know that, I try not to arrange much on weekends, but there are certain things that you can't get out of, weddings and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I love my job, and I think our job is, I think we're fairly lucky to be in this sort of industry. So as promised, I will deliver a rough guide on my salary. So my salary is somewhere between the 40,000 and the 50,000 mark. Now that can depend on a few things, i.e. your holidays you take, or if you don't take them you'll lose them, or your overtime. You know, there is good opportunity for overtime in the job we do when we're busy. But because of the industry we're in, the sector we're in, we're not busy 12 months of the year. We have to take it when we can get it, which is when we're busy, and of course that's generally sort of early summertime. So, you know, I'm happy to work the way we work. I haven't got an issue with it. I actually really enjoy the way the system works. Alright, it's a bit crap not seeing the missus sometimes, but she works just as hard as me, and she does other stuff as well. She's a nurse, so I don't really see her a great deal. But anyway, I don't want to come off topic. So yeah, my salary is around 40 to 50,000. So yeah, my salary is around 40 to 50,000. Pick the bones out of it. You can tell me what you think I'm earning. I don't even know what I'm earning properly. And quite frankly, I don't really care. But keep on going with it. Don't give up. That's it for this episode, guys. A little bit different. I've wobbled on a little bit about some stuff. It's because it was all thought out and typed up, and it should have been on the screen there, right there, as I was talking to you here, so I could glance at it and take notes. But it went, and I wasn't spending another couple of hours typing all that up, because it would have been so different. So I thought, you know what, we'll just freestyle it and try and blag my way through it, which I probably have, but haven't. That's what a HGV driver can potentially earn on the categories. So I like to think that I've helped you through. As discussed, I said that we'll go through the categories of the C1, which is your 7.5 ton. Your category C is your class 2, and C plus E is your class 1. I had to think then. C plus E is your class 1. So there's your 3 categories. Okay, I did say we'd sort of break stuff down. I like to feel we've broken stuff down into, you know, your potential hours of minimum 40 hours a week. Don't think you're going to do 37.5 hours a week, have it easy and earn that sort of money. It's not going to happen. You've got to put yourself out. So if you're a family man and you don't leave your family, don't get into this game. And then all of you that are still watching, if you're not asleep by now, like that, thanks for watching. Until next time, from Lee's Trucking, it's over and out.